Hello, I'm Steve Weber, the host of Beatles Rewind. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and fellow Beatlemaniac, my partner, Cassandra. Good morning, Cass.
Good morning. Oh, I am absolutely ready to get into some rhythm today.
Cass, are you ready to start talking about drums?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Let's get into it. There is this huge paradox around Ringo Starr, isn't there? He's the drummer for, the most influential band ever. And yet there's this persistent story that he was, just okay.
We're just lucky that he was just in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. So today we're going to try and separate the myth from the reality. We'll look at the sources that both condemn him and the ones that celebrate him.
And we have to start with the most famous dismissal of all. The one everyone thinks they know.
The John Lennon quote.
Right, the one where he supposedly said Ringo wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles.
It's just so brutal.
It is, but the thing is, it's completely false. He never said it. It actually came from a BBC comedy show way back in 1981.
But it stuck. It became the foundation for this whole negative narrative.
It did. But if that was the joke, the really serious musical criticism, that came much, much later.
From a legend. Quincy Jones.
Oh, that 2018 interview, it was an absolute bombshell. He just flat out called the Beatles the worst musicians in the world.
And he had a very specific, very damning story about Ringo.
He did. He talked about working on Ringo's solo album, Sentimental Journey, back in 1970.
Yeah.
And he claims Ringo spent 3 hours, trying to play a 4-bar section of Love is a Many-Splendored Thing.
Just a simple 4-bar fill.
According to Jones, he said they eventually sent Ringo out for, I think it was shepherd's pie.
Right, and some beer.
And they called in a pro, a jazz drummer named Ronnie Verrill, who supposedly just, quote, tore it up in 15 minutes.
And the punchline, the really cruel part of the story, is that Ringo comes back, listens to the playback, and says, that didn't sound so bad. He didn't even know it wasn't him.
It suggests he was not only incompetent, but totally oblivious.
It's a devastating takedown. Coming from Quincy Jones, you have to take it seriously. Or do you?
Well, that's the question. You have to add the context. And the context is crucial.
Okay.
First, this was an album of pre-rock standards. We're talking 1940s, 50s, big band stuff. It's all sight-reading complex charts.
A style that was completely alien to Ringo.
Utterly. He was a field player, a rock and blues guy. It's like asking a great novelist to write a technical manual for an airplane.
Yeah.
The skills just don't translate.
And Jones was, 84 when he gave that interview?
Exactly. And his whole sweeping judgment of the entire band was based on this one session with Ringo decades earlier. It's pretty thin.
So if we set that anecdote aside for a minute, let's go back to the beginning.
Right.
Why did the Beatles want him so badly in the first place?
To understand that, you have to talk about the guy he replaced.
Best.
Pete Best. He was the drummer for 2 years through all those Hamburg gigs. He was popular. He was handsome.
But musically?
Musically, the others couldn't wait to get rid of him. John Lennon was, he was very blunt about it.
What did he say?
He said, we were pretty sick of Pete Best. He was a lousy drummer, He never improved. He said they were always planning to dump him as soon as they found someone decent.
So the official story that George Martin wanted a session drummer, that's not the whole picture.
Not at all. That was the excuse. The real reason was that they had their eye on someone else. They knew who they wanted.
And Paul McCartney tells this amazing story about the moment they knew.
The aha moment. Ringo was filling in for Pete, who was sick or something, and they started playing What I Say by Ray Charles.
Which is not a simple beat. It has that rumba thing going on with the cymbals. It's tricky.
Very. And Paul said Ringo just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And he, John, and George just stopped and looked at each other.
That look
that just said, oh my God, what is this? They knew that was it.
So Ringo wasn't just some random guy who got lucky. They actively went after him.
They recruited him. He was already considered the best drummer in Liverpool, playing with a more successful band, Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. They poached him. It was a strategic upgrade.
Which brings us to the big question. What made him the best? What was so special?
I think the drummer Steve Smith put it best. Before Ringo, a great drummer was a virtuoso.
Like Buddy Rich. Lots of solos, lots of flash.
Exactly. It was all about showing off. Ringo completely changed that paradigm. He made it about serving the song.
Less is more.
The less is more philosophy, absolutely. The song, the melody, the vocal, that was what mattered. The drums were there to support it, not compete with it.
He basically invented the modern rock drummer.
You could absolutely make that case. And he was an innovator, too, in very specific ways.
Okay, like what?
Well, his Fills, for one. Drummers like Greg Bissonette talk about his use of double stops.
Okay, for us non-drummers, what's a double stop?
It's just hitting two drums at once, usually a tom and the floor tom, to get a bigger, punchier sound. But Ringo was doing it at really fast tempos on songs like Help or Ticket to Ride, and that requires incredible precision. His fills, as the sonnet said, they said a lot, with very few notes.
He also changed how drummers physically played the instrument.
Yeah, the grip. He was one of the first big rock drummers to use the matched grip.
Instead of the traditional military grip.
Right. The matched grip, where you hold both sticks the same way, just gave you more power and consistency. It was perfect for rock and roll.
And then there was the sound itself. He tuned his drums differently.
Much lower than was fashionable. That's where you get that iconic deep fat tom sound. It was rounder, warmer. Everyone started copying it.
But the real secret weapon was the fact that he was left-handed.
Yes. Playing a right-handed kit. This is so fascinating.
How does that change things?
Well, his dominant hand, his left, was doing the fills, but from the wrong side of the kit. So his movements, the patterns he played were just different. They had this sort of built-in, brilliant awkwardness that no right-handed drummer could ever replicate.
Okay, so that's the technique. But what about reliability? The Quincy Jones story paints him as sloppy.
And that is where the studio logs become the ultimate defense.
You're talking about Mark Lewison's book, The Complete Beatles Recording Sessions.
The Bible. He documented every single take. And what he found was that over 8 years of recording, Ringo was responsible for fewer than a dozen breakdowns.
Fewer than 12 mistakes in 8 years.
That's it. Almost every other time they had to stop a take, it was because of a mistake by John, Paul, or George. The idea that Ringo was incompetent just gets demolished by the evidence.
And you can even see his importance in how they presented themselves on stage.
The drum right.
He was literally elevated.
It was revolutionary. Before that, the drummer was always hidden in the back. The Beatles put him up on a pedestal right there with everyone else. It was a visual statement. He is our equal. He is essential.
And you can hear that on the records. I mean, think of Tomorrow Never Knows.
That heavy tribal beat basically invented psychedelic rock drumming.
Or Rain. He said that was his best performance.
The polyrhythms, the open hi-hat. It's just a masterclass in groove.
Or the fills in A Day in the Life.
They're so strange and perfect. They follow the surreal mood of the song in a way no other drummer would have even thought of.
So, at the end of the day, it all comes back to musical intelligence.
Musical wisdom. There's an argument that the greatest thing about Ringo's drumming is that sometimes you don't even notice it.
Because it never gets in the way of the song.
It never distracts from the vocal or the melody. He had the ears to play exactly what was needed and not one single note more.
So he wasn't the flashiest drummer.
No, but he was the smartest. And his taste, his innovation, and his reliability. They really did redefine the job of a rock and roll drummer. The fact that we're still debating it just shows how important he really was.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Whenever you feel like knowing more about the Beatles, visit us at BeatlesRewind.com. Every day, we do something new there. Book reviews, song reviews, movie reviews, trivia, all things Beatles. Every day, 8 days a week. You can find us on the website, BeatlesRewind.com. You can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Podcasts, practically anywhere. The Beatles, all day, every day. Cass will do it again tomorrow.
Right.
See you then.
Until next time, when you listen.
Your mind conducts its own symphony.